are continuing to highlight resources from the awesome book Groups at Work by Laura Lipton and Bruce Wellman. And in this video, we are talking specifically about a dialogue and discussion strategy called Artifact Hunt. So if you have not been watching the last two, I would go back and check those out as well. It doesn't need to be sequential, but those are about kind of different topics like an activator or kind of planning for change strategically. Those are kind of the two categories we already covered. And now we're diving into this piece. So let's go ahead and take a look at Artifact Hunt.
The authors have created for you. There's actually 2 slides and you can engage with. So here's the first one. The goal of this activity, just to frame it, is that you're trying to assess the values and beliefs that reflect your kind of organizational or group culture. So I love any activity that gets at this. So prior to the meeting, the authors say you really want to make sure that people think about, collect, and ideally bring or at least list any artifacts that they could show to kind of explain the values of their organization or group. So this could be, the authors give some examples, schedules, photographs, objects, right? Then they are going to share those, right? If they're a big group, break them up into 4 to 5 people per group. And then after about 15, 20 minutes of discussion, you are going to transfer what they've identified as kind of categories that these objects or artifacts represent into labels, and they're going to kind of chart this out. So they're going to record the beliefs and values that each of the articles in the category represent, and they can be positive, they could also be negative, so that's important. And then once you have done that, you are going to label the positive and the negative. And then you are going to share with the full group kind of one artifact that represents that. When you think about as a whole group, all the things that are shared, you want to select 3 or 4 core values that will have an impact on the success of the potential change or whatever the topic is under discussion. And then, really think about what would successful implementation look like and what artifacts actually would we find that would reflect that success. So this could be kind of a meaty chunk here, about 15 to 20 minutes prior to this, right, is when we're going to kind of figure out what those 3 or 4 core values are. And then after this, really think about together collectively, like, what does it actually look like? Because often we skip this stuff, I think, and then we're just not really sure if we've been successful or not. We're not really clear on what we're working together on. So feel free to use these slides from the authors. Thank you, authors. I think this is an awesome way to get at values and beliefs that are often...
An example, so I want to do that. So the example that the authors include is really good. So they say when you're examining a school's culture, the artifacts could be like the daily schedule, minutes from staff meetings, pictures of posters on the walls, photos of the staff room and its bulletin boards, yearbooks, school awards, photos of trophy cases, student newspapers, and transcripts of daily announcements. Now, the values that could suggest order and predictability, hierarchy and status, and tradition. Oh my gosh. Those values, I think, underlie so many schools, and I wonder if schools would be pleased with that. Like, I wonder what discussion that could prompt, which is why this is great for a discussion category. So the other ones I really want to name that I like as well, you should check these all out, and I'll link to the resource list from the authors where you can check all of them out. Card, stack, and shuffle, and in and out of the frame. Card, stack, and shuffle I think about as like the math language routine collect and display, which I really like. Where you're just kind of generating cards and you're going to categorize or order them. And then the other one, the in and out of the frame, you're kind of generating a list of ideas, and then you're kind of stepping outside of the frame and saying, well, what would this stakeholder think about this? Or what would this perspective be? And you're explicitly taking on that stance, which I think is really cool.